Welcome to Module 4, Chapter 10, where we examine barriers to circular economy adoption in emerging economies. Implementing circular principles is often challenging in regions with different economic, social, and regulatory contexts than developed markets. Sustainability involves not only environmental protection but also balancing growth and social equity. You'll explore internal barriers like limited expertise and resources, and external ones such as policy gaps, financial constraints, and societal acceptance. We'll show how these obstacles vary by region and sector, and why understanding local context and stakeholder views is essential. By the end, you'll identify key barriers and practical strategies to overcome them, enabling you to support sustainable transformation in your organization or community. In this chapter, we will examine the main barriers to circular economy adoption. We start with an overview, then discuss internal and external barriers, followed by societal and consumer-related challenges. We'll analyze case studies from India and Thailand to highlight regional differences. Strategies for overcoming these barriers and future directions for circular economy adoption will be presented. By the end, you'll understand the complexity of these challenges and be able to identify practical solutions for sustainable transformation. Overview of barriers to circular economy adoption. Barriers to circular economy are multifaceted, involving organizational, regulatory, and behavioral factors. External barriers include capital constraints, policy limitations, and societal acceptance, while internal barriers relate to resource limitations and organizational capacities. Stakeholder perspectives are crucial. Different groups may face unique challenges and have diverse priorities. For example, what is a barrier for a small business may not be the same for a government agency or a consumer group. By acknowledging these perspectives, businesses and policymakers can develop more effective strategies to overcome barriers and foster sustainable circular economy adoption. This approach ensures that interventions are inclusive, context-sensitive, and capable of addressing the real needs and concerns of all stakeholders involved in the circular transition. Circular economy barriers persist despite supportive policies, especially for small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs. These obstacles include limited financial support and low consumer awareness, which can make it difficult for businesses to invest in circular practices or for consumers to choose sustainable products. Challenges differ across regions and sectors, with India and Thailand facing unique issues related to infrastructure, regulation, and cultural attitudes. Governmental and non-governmental organizations play a vital role in promoting, regulating, and monitoring circular economy adoption, but their efforts must be tailored to local realities. Understanding and addressing both internal and external barriers is key to advancing circular practices and achieving long-term sustainability. By focusing on region and sector-specific solutions, stakeholders can create more effective pathways for circular economy implementation. Barriers to circular economy adoption are classified as internal or external. External barriers include policy challenges, lack of capital support, limited access to information, and societal acceptance. These often stem from the broader environment in which organizations operate, such as government regulations, market conditions, and cultural norms. Internal barriers involve limitations in resources and organizational capacities, such as insufficient technical knowledge, lack of skilled personnel, or inadequate management systems. This classification helps in designing targeted interventions and solutions, making it easier for organizations to address specific challenges and move towards successful circular economy implementation. By understanding whether a barrier is internal or external, businesses and policymakers can allocate resources more effectively and develop strategies that address the root causes of resistance to circular practices. Internal barriers to circular economy implementation. A major internal barrier is the lack of technical knowledge required for circular practices. In Southeast Asia, only about 35% of respondents have received formal training on circular economy topics, highlighting a significant skills gap. This lack of expertise makes it difficult for organizations to design, implement, and manage circular business models. Without adequate training, employees may not understand the benefits of circularity or know how to apply circular principles in their daily work. Expanding education and training is essential for SMEs to adopt circular models and drive sustainable change. Building technical expertise will empower organizations to innovate and implement effective circular solutions, making them more competitive and resilient in the face of global sustainability challenges. Investing in education also helps create a culture of continuous improvement and adaptation, which is vital for long-term success in the circular economy. Barriers to circular economy often stem from the lack of established models and protocols. Internal challenges include limited resources and organizational readiness, such as insufficient funding, weak leadership support, and inadequate infrastructure. These constraints hinder experimentation and scaling of circular initiatives. Conflicts between formal and informal economies also affect social sustainability. In many emerging markets, informal sectors significantly contribute to recycling and reuse, yet their role is often undervalued. Case studies from India and Thailand show how these barriers differ by context, highlighting the need for tailored solutions and collaboration. Addressing these internal challenges helps organizations build stronger foundations for circular adoption and create inclusive, effective strategies. Financial and managerial obstacles are significant barriers to circular economy adoption. External challenges include limited capital and policy support, which can make it difficult for businesses to invest in new technologies or processes. Internal barriers involve resource constraints and organizational capacities, such as lack of skilled managers or effective decision-making structures. Social factors, such as customer awareness and acceptance, also impact the adoption of circular principles. For example, if consumers are not willing to pay a premium for sustainable products, businesses may struggle to justify investments in circularity. Addressing these issues requires coordinated efforts to improve financial incentives, management practices, and stakeholder engagement. By creating supportive environments and building strong leadership, organizations can overcome financial and managerial barriers and accelerate the transition to circular business models. External barriers to circular economy implementation. Financial mechanisms like subsidies and aid often favor linear production, making circular approaches less viable for SMEs. Unsupportive and misaligned regulations further obstruct transitions to circular models, as businesses may face conflicting requirements or lack clear guidance on how to comply with circular economy standards. Policy coherence is lacking across ASEAN countries, limiting the effectiveness of current initiatives. SMEs face difficulties complying with complex extended producer responsibility requirements, especially in cross-border contexts where regulations and logistics can be particularly challenging. Addressing these regulatory and financial barriers is essential for advancing circular economy practices. Policymakers must work to harmonize regulations, provide targeted financial support, and create incentives that make circular business models more attractive and feasible for organizations of all sizes. Accessing sustainable materials is a challenge due to high costs and limited availability of recycled inputs. For many SMEs, recycled materials can be more expensive or of lower quality than virgin materials, making it difficult to justify their use. Tax reliefs and subsidies can help SMEs prioritize sustainable materials, making eco-friendly products more affordable for consumers. However, Limited supply chain incentives in Asia slow the transition to circular models, reducing the financial attractiveness of sustainability efforts. Balancing quality standards with environmental benefits is crucial for promoting sustainable practices and overcoming supply chain barriers. Governments must ensure that regulations protect social and environmental interests while also supporting business innovation and competitiveness. By improving access to sustainable materials and aligning incentives, stakeholders can accelerate the adoption of circular economy principles. Effective circular economy adoption depends on strong policy and financial support, robust infrastructure, and inclusive institutional frameworks. Governments and NGOs must foster eco-conscious consumer behavior and support businesses in adopting circular models. This includes investing in waste management and recycling infrastructure, providing technical assistance, and creating supportive regulatory environments. Integrating social, economic, and behavioral factors ensures equitable access and community engagement, making circular economy initiatives more inclusive and effective. Ongoing support from public and private sectors is vital for overcoming barriers and achieving sustainable transformation. By working together, stakeholders can create enabling environments that support innovation, build capacity, and drive long-term change in the circular economy. Societal and consumer-related barriers. Public awareness and acceptance are vital for shifting markets towards circular practices. Many consumers doubt the quality and value of reused or recycled products, while higher costs of sustainable goods reduce motivation. In low-income regions, informal circular activities emerge from necessity, creating unique challenges and opportunities. Understanding social and economic contexts helps policymakers design inclusive strategies. Education campaigns, transparent communication, and incentives can build trust and encourage sustainable choices. By addressing perceptions and improving access to affordable options, organizations can drive broader adoption of circular economy principles. Public awareness encourages companies to adopt circular practices, but economic barriers like higher costs and skepticism persist. Informal economy activities, such as waste picking and repair, drive necessity-based circularity in low-income populations. These practices often go unrecognized in formal economic systems, limiting their impact and integration into broader circular economy strategies. Lack of cooperation between informal and formal sectors and insufficient impact data further hinder sustainable development. Bridging these gaps is essential for inclusive and effective circular economy policies. Policymakers must recognize the value of informal sector contributions, create mechanisms for collaboration, and develop data collection systems that capture the full range of circular activities. By fostering partnerships and building trust, stakeholders can create more resilient and equitable circular economy systems. Barriers to circular economy in low-income regions include limited awareness, consumer skepticism, and economic constraints. Higher costs of eco-friendly products favor linear production, as affordability often outweighs sustainability. Informal economies drive necessity-based reuse and repair, improving resource efficiency but rarely recognized in formal policies. Lack of data and visibility hampers inclusive development. Addressing these issues requires policies that integrate informal practices, promote education, and involve all stakeholders. Valuing necessity-driven circularity enables governments and organizations to create more effective, sustainable solutions for low-income communities. Case studies. Barriers in India and Thailand. Research in India and Thailand shows that external barriers, including economic and cultural factors, are significant obstacles to circular economy adoption. Internal barriers like financial constraints and limited technological expertise also hinder progress. For example, SMEs in these countries may lack access to affordable financing or struggle to find skilled workers with experience in circular practices. A systemic, collaborative approach involving governments, policymakers, citizens, and businesses is needed to achieve sustainable circularity and address region-specific challenges. By sharing knowledge, building capacity, and fostering innovation, stakeholders can develop tailored solutions that reflect local realities and drive meaningful change in the circular economy. Surveys in Southeast Asia reveal low technical expertise, with only about 35% of respondents trained in circular economy topics. This skills gap makes it difficult for organizations to implement circular practices effectively. SMEs face external barriers such as insufficient government support and unsupportive regulations, which can create uncertainty and discourage investment. Infrastructure limitations and financial disincentives further impede circular business models, making it challenging for companies to scale up sustainable initiatives. Societal and consumer attitudes remain obstacles, as many people are unaware of the benefits of circular economy or skeptical about the value of recycled products. Addressing these challenges requires targeted education, policy reform, and investment in infrastructure to create enabling environments for circular economy adoption. Internal barriers mainly involve financial constraints and lack of technological expertise, while external barriers dominate in emerging economies. For example, businesses may struggle to invest in new equipment or hire skilled workers, while also facing regulatory hurdles and market uncertainties. Overcoming these challenges requires systemic approaches and collaborative actions from governments, businesses, researchers, and citizens. Sustainable circular economy adoption depends on coordinated efforts to address both internal and external obstacles, ensuring that solutions are comprehensive, context-sensitive, and capable of driving long-term change. By fostering partnerships and building capacity, stakeholders can create more resilient and adaptive circular economy systems. Strategies for overcoming barriers. A systemic approach is essential for overcoming the complex barriers to circular economy adoption, especially in emerging economies. External barriers, such as regulatory gaps and lack of financial incentives, often hinder progress, while internal constraints like limited technical expertise and financial resources slow organizational change. Addressing these challenges requires collaborative action from all stakeholders, governments, policymakers, businesses, researchers, and citizens. By working together, these groups can share knowledge, align policies, and pool resources to drive innovation and resilient transitions. Partnerships between public and private sectors are crucial for developing supportive infrastructure, fostering education, and creating incentives for sustainable practices. Collaborative efforts also help ensure that solutions are context-specific and inclusive, taking into account the unique needs of different regions and communities. Ultimately, a systemic and collaborative approach builds the foundation for long-term sustainability, enabling the circular economy to thrive and deliver benefits across society. Education, innovation, and policy support are key to overcoming barriers to circular economy adoption. Many Asian countries lack technical expertise, with few professionals trained in circular practices. Expanding education and training empowers SMEs and larger firms to drive sustainable change. Innovation must span product design and business models to tackle internal and external challenges. Strong policy support, clear regulations, financial incentives, and infrastructure is essential to make circular practices viable. Collaboration among businesses, governments, and citizens fosters best practices and a culture of sustainability. Future leaders should champion these efforts, advocating policies and innovations for resilient transitions to a circular economy. circular economy success, both technological and social dimensions must shape infrastructure and policy. Internal gaps in technical skills require targeted education and workforce development, while external barriers like policy misalignment and financial constraints need coordinated government-industry action. Bridging formal and informal economies is crucial in low-income regions, where necessity-driven practices, repair, reuse, informal recycling, play a major role. Inclusive policies should ensure equity and access, enabling all communities to benefit. Public awareness campaigns and cultural shifts can foster sustainable behaviors. Combining innovation with social inclusion creates robust, adaptable systems for a truly sustainable circular transition. Future directions for circular economy adoption. Inclusive policy design and strong institutional frameworks are essential for advancing the circular economy. Strategies must integrate technological, social, economic, and behavioral factors into policy and infrastructure. Internal barriers like limited knowledge and resources require investment in education and capacity building, while external barriers such as policy gaps need coherent regulations and supportive institutions. Inclusive policies bridge formal and informal sectors, ensuring equal access to resources. Governments and NGOs play a key role in raising awareness, supporting education, and fostering cultural shifts. Robust frameworks and stakeholder participation create enabling environments that drive innovation, sustainable growth, and equitable benefits for all. Achieving a sustainable circular economy requires coordinated action among a diverse range of stakeholders. Policymakers, business leaders, researchers, and communities must collaborate to understand the complex and interconnected barriers that hinder progress. Multi-stakeholder collaboration fosters innovation, resource sharing, and the development of adaptive, just strategies that can respond to changing conditions. Future leaders need to recognize the importance of these partnerships and work to build trust, align goals, and leverage the strengths of each group. By working together, stakeholders can design and implement policies, business models, and educational programs that address both internal and external challenges. This collaborative approach not only accelerates the transition to circular practices, but also ensures that solutions are inclusive, equitable, and capable of delivering long-term sustainability and resilience for all. Future leaders are pivotal in overcoming barriers to circular economy adoption. They must foster collaboration among businesses, policymakers, and citizens, champion innovation, and advocate supportive policies. Recognizing the interconnected nature of financial, technical, regulatory, and social barriers enables leaders to design adaptive, just strategies. Coordinated multi-stakeholder action is essential for resilient transformation. Leaders should build capacity, promote education, and encourage cultural shifts towards circular practices. By equipping teams with the right skills and knowledge, future leaders can guide organizations and communities through challenges, embedding sustainability as a core value across sectors. Emerging economies face a range of internal, external, and societal challenges in adopting circular economy principles. Financial constraints, regulatory gaps, and limited technical capacity often slow the transition to circular business models. Overcoming these barriers requires collaborative strategies that bring together government, industry, academia, and civil society. Education and inclusive policies are vital for building understanding and support for circular economy initiatives. Capacity building and clear regulatory frameworks help bridge knowledge gaps and improve stakeholder engagement. By fostering partnerships and investing in both people and infrastructure, organizations can achieve sustainable development, improved resource efficiency, and long-term environmental protection. Ultimately, Overcoming barriers to circular economy adoption supports economic resilience, social well-being, and a more sustainable future for all. Thank you for participating in this chapter. Next, we will continue with Module 4, Chapter 11.